When we are children, sometimes we don't have a full and complete grasp of the world. We rely on adults to teach us the things that are acceptable and the things that are unacceptable. And sometimes certain things can slip between the cracks. Sometimes as kids, we think of something as okay because we've never been challenged on it, until suddenly we're told it isn't okay and our entire world changes. And sometimes we think things are okay that really aren't okay, and we get punished as a result. I remember the first time I got in trouble at school was the day I realized that running from the kindergarten classroom screaming because I didn't want nap time to be over was not acceptable, and I got grounded and wasn't allowed to watch Disney movies for a few days as a result. That was a big moment that shifted my worldview pretty significantly, and I still remember how bad that punishment felt to little me. These things happen to us a lot as kids, and the most notable instance for this for me was the time I got banned from drawing in 5th grade. And what's wild about this story is that, looking back on it now as an adult, I kind of agree with my teacher, which is a wild thing to say, but in this scenario, context is key. So get comfy and chill for a bit, and let's talk context. The story begins in elementary school. As a kid, I was always very into drawing. I was one of those kids that doodled on all my assignments, entered art contests at school, and art-related projects were always my favorite. In the early days, my doodles and drawings mostly consisted of the cartoon characters I was into at the time, and stuff like animals, people, etc. But my specific art interest took a shift in around the 4th or 5th grade. At one point during a sleepover at a friend's house, my friend took me into her parents' computer room and introduced me to a little thing called Google Image Search, which is a wild sentence in the modern day, but you need to understand that I wasn't raised on the internet the way the kids are now. This was pre-YouTube, pre-social media, pre-most websites we use these days. I barely used the internet at all back then, and even then it was only for school projects. I remember one instance when my mom tried to get me to use the internet more because her friends' daughters were playing chess with people on Yahoo Games. Meanwhile, I just wanted to screw around and make little animations and kid pics. And yet, look where we ended up. Look where we are now. Are you proud of me, mother? I'm chronically online and I'm an influencer. Are you proud of me? Is this what you wanted? Anyway. So, back to the sleepover. My friend pulled up Google Images and we spent the evening literally just Googling anime pictures. Like typing anime into Google Images and just scrolling down to see what came up. A lot of it was just like early 2000s anime screen caps combined with the standard cute anime girl illustrations you'd see all over the internet in the early 2000s. Cute girl in cute outfit doing cute poses. Cute girl in sci-fi outfit that was basically a bodysuit and head accessories. Cute girl in goth clothes, that kind of thing. Now, I had seen some anime at this point. I watched a lot of Sailor Moon and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, but I didn't know there was a specific word for that type of art until that point. And seeing all these cute illustrations in the type of art style I had only seen on TV until now, and realizing I could see all of them just by typing a few words into the computer, I was hooked immediately. It was like a whole new world opened up. And naturally, with the new love comes a new desire. I also wanted to draw cute anime girls. Over the next few weeks, I doodled cute anime girls on pretty much every scrap of paper I could get my hands on. In my sketchbooks, on assignments, in my school journals. I was a drawing menace. I had a new goal, and it was to draw as many cute anime girls as I could. However, this came with a slight problem. You see, dear viewer, the truth is, A, I wasn't very good at drawing, and B, I wasn't the sharpest tool in the toolbox either. And that definitely caused some problems for me as a kid. To be fair to younger me, I don't think I can be fully blamed for what happened next. I was just following my bliss and didn't see the problem until it was too late. I don't think most 5th graders would have thought what I was doing was a problem either. Or maybe I was just really sheltered and naive, but anyway, here's what happened. My anime girl drawings were rough. The anatomy was all over the place, and I was mostly trying to emulate the art style of the anime I had seen online and on TV to varying degrees of success. I drew my faces in a very Pokemon-esque style, but they were drawn very small on heads the size of watermelons with super spiky, crazy hair that was only on the top of the heads. My anime girls all kind of looked like tomatoes, and this next part is crucial. With very few exceptions, I only ever drew characters facing the front. Maybe facing profile if I was feeling daring that day, but I'd say probably 90% of my drawings were straight on front-facing poses, which is where the problem began. So, I wanted to draw cute girls. When I sat down to draw, I kept in my simplistic 10-year-old mind all the things that girls have. Girls have eyes, I drew eyes. Girls have hair, I gave them hair. Badly drawn hair, but hair nonetheless. Girls have legs, I gave them legs, unless they were mermaids, which I drew sometimes. Girls have boobs? Well, gotta give my girls boobs, I guess. You might be able to see where this is going. The problem is, I didn't really know how to draw boobs from the front. You could see them from the side, but from the front, like how I drew most of my character art? Unless their chests were huge, not so much. But of course, little me didn't know how to properly render that. So instead, I came up with a different solution. Just draw their boobs sticking straight out to the side. Big old J or C shapes just slapped onto the chest of every single one of my anime girls. Every single one. Which made all of my anime girl drawings have massive bazonkers, like absolutely huge bazonkers. Again, I was a kid. I didn't know what sex appeal was. I probably didn't even know what sex was at that point. I was 10. I had absolutely no concept of boobs being sexual in any kind of way. There wasn't anything evocative going on in the poses. They were literally just standing there, maybe waving or making a peace sign if their hands weren't hidden behind their back. And the clothes weren't super sexy or anything. I mostly drew them in tank tops and cutoff shorts because that's what I like to wear. There were a few drawings in swimsuits, but even those weren't that revealing, so it wasn't anything scandalous. In my mind, I was just drawing the female form as I knew it to exist. Just with their boobies sticking straight out to the side because I didn't know how else to draw them. So again, I didn't know that drawing girls with big boobs was a problem for a 10-year-old. But you know who did know? Robbie. Robbie, as we'll call him for this video, was a kid in my 5th grade class. Him and a few other boys like to pick on folks in my class a lot, and I was definitely the target of their antics on multiple occasions. I don't have any super strong memories of him aside from this incident, so I don't think his bullying had a lasting effect on me. I definitely had other bullies who were worse. But he's on my shit list forever because of this one incident. So, at one point, I'm just sitting in class, drawing my big titty anime girls in my sketchbook and minding my own business. And Robbie, who I think was sitting behind me, looked over my shoulder and saw my big titty anime girl drawings. Taking the opportunity to be a little shit, he grabbed my sketchbook off my desk and ran over to show the teacher. Teacher, Star's drawing super inappropriate stuff. And my 5th grade teacher took one look at the drawings I had done, got this horrified look on her face, came over to me, and told me point blank that I wasn't allowed to draw anymore. I was crushed, heartbroken, and also really confused. Again, I didn't know what I had done wrong. What was so wrong about drawing cute girls? Did my teacher just hate anime? Was there a problem with drawing in general? I wasn't the only artist in class, so why was I the only one being punished? And what was I even being punished for? I still remember Robbie's shit-eating grin as he stood behind the teacher and watched as my heart broke into pieces. And then he just went back to his desk like he hadn't just ruined my entire life. I remember being so scared at that point. I loved drawing, and all of a sudden it had been taken away from me and I didn't know why. Would I get in trouble for drawing at home too? Was I going to be banned from drawing forever? But I loved drawing. I loved making comics and had aspirations of being an animator someday. Was this one incident going to take that away from me forever? What was I going to do? What had I even done to deserve this? What made it worse is that my other friends were also artists, and they never got in trouble for drawing. It was literally just me. I saw them doodling in their sketchbooks during class, and they never got in trouble, so why was I singled out? Why was I the only one who wasn't allowed to draw? It didn't make any sense. To all the adults in the audience, who maybe have to deal with children on a semi-regular basis, this is why you need to make it very clear what children are in trouble for, because sometimes, if they don't understand, it's going to cause them a mental breakdown. But anyway. So like I said before the Robbie incident, most of what I drew were cute girls. Human, cute girls mostly, and sometimes mermaids. I didn't really draw much else. So in my head, I figured that the girls must have been the problem. I wasn't allowed to draw girls, but maybe I was allowed to draw other things. If I was only banned from drawing girls, then surely drawing other things would be okay, right? So I started to experiment. Like I said before, I occasionally enjoy drawing animals and Pokemon, but there was one series in particular that I haven't mentioned yet. As a kid in my elementary school years, there was one show I was obsessed with beyond all others, and that show was Hamtaro. I loved Hamtaro. If you're not familiar, it was a cutesy little anime about the lives of pet hamsters who got up to shenanigans when their owners were away. And the hamsters were drawn in a very simple yet distinctive art style that was fairly easy for young me to replicate. And hamsters were not anime girls. So I started testing the waters, and I drew a single hamster on one of my homework assignments. When I turned it in and got my assignment back from the teacher, I didn't get in trouble. She didn't comment on my hamster drawing at all. Thinking that it was maybe just a fluke, I drew more hamsters. I still didn't get in trouble. I doodled hamsters in my sketchbook. Still no signs of trouble. And I realized that perhaps I had found a loophole. Hamsters were safe. I could draw as many hamsters as I wanted and not get in trouble. So naturally, I drew as many hamsters as humanly possible. For weeks, hamsters were all I drew. I was drawing the characters from Hamtaro. I was drawing myself and my friends as hamsters. I was coming up with original character hamsters. And importantly, I wasn't getting in trouble. It was legitimately the freest I had felt since the ban. My hamster drawings weren't good, but I could draw them without getting in trouble, which was the important thing. So, I had been drawing exclusively hamsters for a couple of weeks at this point. And who took notice but life ruiner Robbie, back again for his revenge. At some point, he saw me drawing in my hamster-laden sketchbook, and again ran off to tell on me to the teacher. After all, he had gotten me banned from drawing just weeks ago, and yet I was still drawing. This bullshittery would not stand. He was gonna get me in so much trouble, and he was going to love it. So he runs off to the teacher and tells her, Teacher, Star's drawing, but you said that she couldn't draw anymore. You said she wasn't allowed to draw anymore, but look at her desk, she's drawing right now! So our teacher, upon hearing this, went over to my desk to see what I was drawing. And in that moment, I was terrified. I had been testing and poking at the boundaries with my hamsters for weeks. Was this the moment that the dam finally broke? Would I finally be punished for disobeying my art ban? What was gonna happen? But my teacher looked at my drawings of hamsters, turned to Robbie and said, "Those drawings are fine. Go back to your seat." And left. And this time, Robbie was the one who looked like his entire world had been shattered. He had wanted to get me in trouble again and had been shot down by the very teacher he had gotten me in trouble with once already. And he turned to me, stricken and confused, and I gave him the best shit-eating, smug-ass grin I could humanly manage. Because, haha, motherfucker, I found a loophole and you can suck it! Dejected, Robbie trudged back to his desk and I reveled in my victory. And then I drew nothing but Hamtaro hamsters for the rest of the year. In the end, banning me from drawing didn't make me want to pursue art any less. If anything, it only made me want to draw more. And even though I pretty much only drew hamsters for an entire year, I eventually started drawing other things once I moved on to middle school. I eventually figured out how to draw girls without giving them massive bonk-honk-donketers, and now I draw cute girls for a living. So overall, I'd say everything turned out okay in the end. And I can still draw a pretty okay Hamtaro-style hamster decades later, so that's pretty neat. Okay guys, just a couple of quick things for the outro. Number 1, I have several conventions coming up where I'll be selling my art in the Artist Alley. This coming weekend, I'll be at Anime Austin in Austin, Texas, and I have 3 events coming up in December. Anime Frontier in Fort Worth, Catty Art Market in Austin, and Holiday Matsuri in Orlando. If you'll be at any of those events, please come say hi to me. I would love to hang out and talk with you guys for a little bit while I'm at my table. Secondly, the art for this video is from this month's Patreon Mail Club, and you can get this month's stickers and signed print by joining before the month is over. Link is down there in the description. Lastly, you may or may not have noticed this, but I've actually started doing streams on this channel. I'll be streaming here and on Twitch simultaneously from now on, and while I'll be archiving my game streams on my second channel, my art streams will be staying put here to make them easier for folks to find. In fact, the footage I used in this video is taken from 2 separate live streams that are archived on my channel now, so check those out in the live tab on my page. I stream art every Monday evening and occasionally on Wednesdays, so come hang out and watch while I draw and see the magic happen. Take care of yourselves, friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!